Good afternoon, guys. Back for another day in the gym. And so today we have our heavy push day. Uh, what I start off with is a squat, and then I go into a what, what is it? I go into after the squat, I go into leg extension, but a partial, not full. And then after the leg extension, I do chest, and I do two exercises for chest, dumbbell bench press, and then I go into an incline dumbbell fly. And then also, as with all of my heavy days, I do a set of abs. And today, unfortunately, it was not captured, but today I will be doing like a incline, let's say Russian twist, where I bring up my feet, and then I'm in like a holding a crunch position and then doing the Russian twist in there. So that's the menu for today, and let's get into it. So right now, in order to do squat, I use the cable machine in my gym because doing squat with the dumbbells would not be as effective. So what I do is I drop it to a lower weight, or I'm sorry, I drop it to a lower position so that I start in a deep squat position and then stand up to, set form, set my feet. And then after doing that, we start the reps. This day also, I was just not feeling being in the gym. So I'm moving a little bit slow today, unfortunately. But here we are. Let's get it. Also, as always, start with a good warm up. So I will be warming up with a set of 20. I believe that's set at 50 on each side. So 100 pounds total. And there's the first set. So it looks a little, as you see, I struggled a little bit, but it's a little uncomfortable getting into it. I promise on successive reps or successive sets, I do a lot better. But, and I was just tight here. I could feel it in the warm up. But again, that's why you warm up. So, uh, again, I'm struggling at the moment. So, trying to get everything set because it just doesn't feel right. Um, but then going to finish with the other 18 reps of this exercise. And like I said in my previous video, I personally enjoy the warm up. It kind of gets all the kinks out. It makes me, or it puts me in a position to be most comfortable, and then obviously activate the muscle the best when doing the actual working set. So while I was not a fan of it while I was younger, it is definitely something that I've grown to appreciate um, in my older years, and definitely helps to prime the body, if you will, and get everything working and moving as it should. So that's the squat right here. Um, yeah. So then when I get out, also uncomfortable. Right now I'm recording the set on my watch, but until I actually am in a formal gym, this will have to do. But now what I do is rest for 1 minute, and then I am doubling the weight. So I did 50 on each side. I jumped to 100 on each side. Um, but again, it's not really 200 pounds that I'm squatting because it is pulleys. So I don't know the exact weight because I couldn't do the math, but um, I know it's more than zero. So there we go. But so we have a minute rest, and then what I'll do is I'll go into a set of 10 with that 200 total pounds, 100 on each side. Sorry for the camera moving. That was the chair or the bench moving because I was getting up. Again, getting into this position is not ideal, especially when I was so tight earlier and I'm not really feeling it. But usually I start deeper. You'll see on the working sets where my position is a lot better, but on these lighter sets, because I know that my body can handle it, I just kind of jump in there and knock it out. Um, but yeah, here's a set of 10. I try to do my best to go as low as possible without the weights touching, clanging against each other. Some people believe in like the power sets where you can feel the what's that word I'm looking for? You can feel the weights touching or hear that clang clang in the gym. I personally don't like it. That means to me that you don't have control. Um, and if you're looking for power, I think there's definitely different ways to exercise where you're not, let's say, making it uncomfortable for everyone else in the gym of hearing you exercise. Now, technically, I'm the only one in gym at the moment, but still, I think this type of gym etiquette carries over into other exercises, or I'm sorry, other places. So, when I'm in a formal gym, I also will carry myself and operate in such a way where I'm not disturbing others. So that's kind of what my focus or mentality is while exercising. And so my minute is up, and now we're doing the what's it called? The last warm up set. And for the last warm up set, uh, we don't go up 100 pounds. We go up, I believe it's 80 pounds, so almost 100 pounds. And we're going to do a set of 8. And again, this slow, methodical warm up really helps to prime the muscles and get everything working correctly. I can at least say for myself and in my experience that when I did this set of exercises, the first one or first set was terrible. I was not into it. Everything felt stiff. And I did stretch before it, just for those who might be wondering. But then for the second one, it felt 10 times better. And now for this third one, it just felt like a well-oiled machine, if you will. Um, so what I do is I kind of enter a deep squat, as you can see, with the heavier weights, um, and set my feet afterwards. And then I just jump into the set. Again, I try to go as low as possible without the weight touching. And if it does, it touches ever so slightly, and then we're back up. Also, part of the problem when you're dealing with this independent pulley system is that one side can touch over the other. So, ensuring that I am exactly in the middle of the uh, bar and I'm not to one side or the other is definitely ideal. And I've noticed at times where I'm not in the middle, one side might touch over the other. So I've definitely tried to work on that and setting myself up so that I'm exactly in the middle and it's not uneven because you don't want to be unbalanced where one side is pulling. So definitely important to ensure when using this independent pulley system or just in general when you're lifting, make sure you're balanced, and it just will lead to a better workout. So now we're going to once this rest period is up, again for the warm-ups, there's a rest period of 1 minute. And then after that rest period, 1 minute, we go right into either another warm-up or we go into the working set. We're now going to the working set. So I dropped the pin down to 200 on both sides. So we're moving 400. Again, it's not really 400. I don't think it divides the weight by 200. So I hope I'm doing 200 plus, but I'm not sure. So again, I am a little slow today, but trying to, knock out this exercise, if you will. So getting into position, um, squatting down, positioning feet, and then let's go after the set. So again, you can see even from this video that the right side, and kind of you can see on the left side, but on the right side, I'm like barely touching, if at all touching. Just trying to exercise the full range of motion that's available. I definitely would like being in a traditional gym because that would then allow me to go even lower on my squat, and actually truly exercise the full range of motion. This is okay for what it is, but I definitely believe in, explosive movements through the full range of motion, hit all parts of the muscle. Definitely just trying to not focus on one. Now, I do a partial range of motion for the leg extension, but that's to focus on specific muscles in the quad. Um, However, in general, when not trying to focus on specific muscles, my goal or my plan or idea is to always exercise the full range of motion. I personally believe just it leads to a better workout, better results, and quality. So as I said, uh, we're in the working set. I just repositioned the bar just because I think it was bothering me at the time or something. I don't remember for this one. But uh, again, as I said, since I'm waiting for so long, what we do is Duolingo, practicing my French, and my goal to be multilingual and, just knock it out. Unfortunately, it was pretty hot in the gym, so this video is not as long as I would like it to be. Um, but c'est la vie. We'll still, cover the important parts, um, dive into any additional details, and go from there. Also, yes, an important part of this is that I keep to my uh, 10 working reps for a muscle group. So I do the 3 sets of warm up, 5 working sets of squat, just because it's whole body. And I believe in, what is it, whole body and hinge movements, just to get a good workout. But then also on top of that, I like to target certain muscle groups, i.e., the 2 quad muscles that I like to target when I'm doing the leg extension. So that is the plan. Oh, sorry. And then for leg extension, we do 5 working sets as well. We don't need to warm up on leg extension because the quads are already warmed up from the squat. So we can just jump right into it and knock that out. So here we are, approaching the machine for the second working set. I'm going to get positioned shortly. As I said, I just was struggling on this day, but it's also important to hit the gym when you're not feeling it. So position my feet, and then we go to squat. And as you can see, trying to get as low as possible without touching the bottom. So getting that full range of motion. And then again, because I'm doing heavy, goal is 5 reps, but I allow for 2 more, so up to 7 if I can actually push that. And because I'm actually stronger than my local gym or my apartment gym, that is why I'm going all the way up to 7. But goal is to get all or hit 5 and actually maybe go down to 3 at one point, just to get that really short set or small rep range and just get all of those power and strength gains that I'm looking to get. So with this, I also realize that um, it's important to focus on different, how should I say, work. That's not probably the right word, but what I like to focus on is getting um, certain exercises done, and it allows me to target and grow certain muscle groups. So the way I do my split is I do um, a heavy pull or push day, then a lighter pull or push day. Then if I did heavy pull the first day, then I do heavy push on the third day, then a light push on the fourth day, and then s- I used to return back to the heavy first day, but right now because of how I position the workout, I think I really enjoy just doing the four workouts because that it leaves my body taxed, but also leaves me with leaves me with enough energy to kind of go throughout the rest of my day. So that is kind of what my split is. For everybody it's different. And do what works for you. But I've found that this helps and gives me what I need in order to, get the best out of my workouts. So, um, what else? I do apologize for the large amount of downtime, but it is the nature of the beast with these heavy workouts. Um, but I also enjoy it. Um, and I guess I'm enjoying it partially because I'm seeing what is the word I'm looking for? I'm seeing the effects of the workout. And so for me, it is encouraging when I see those effects to then encourage me to go back into the gym and, you know, do something that maybe in the moment is not enjoyable, but I know that my body will thank me in the form of increased output for my rides and, increased strength to do kind of daily activities. So it kind of is what I need to push me forward. So yeah, getting set, like I said, this is not the greatest, um, but it just helps, or it's good enough right now for me in this home gym to get what I need. And again, we knock it out another set of seven, and then we're done. And so I think we're at three right now, but it's this is kind of the process that I'm using this back um, iterative process, I would say, of lift. So what I also think is important right now of, as I said, this iterative process, getting stronger, learning your body, is that at the end of the day, you should do what is right for you and what you believe will get you the results, but also kind of following a science-backed approach. Um, I particularly know that for a time, if you will, I bought into the bro science. And I mentioned this briefly on my other video, but it deserves mentioning again that when I was younger, I just was like, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll lift weights and then I can eat whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. And um, that was just not the way to go. I was getting stronger in the gym, but my overall health definitely suffered from having that mindset. And so now, what I prefer is this process of, you know, eating healthy outside of the gym, doing work inside the gym, but then in general, having an overall healthy lifestyle. In one of the videos that I'll post later, I'll show you how I take walks in different neighborhoods. And I'll tell you right now, I was not a walker. Um, But then I found out some of the benefits of walking, the fat burning capabilities, and how you can burn a decent number of calories, if you will, by just adding weight. So getting a weight vest and then walking is kind of like you're multiplying your steps. And yeah, I'm just all for that. So uh, I have tried to embrace an overall healthy lifestyle instead of just focusing necessarily in one area or another um, with a healthy lifestyle. And I think personally, I'm able to see the benefits of that. I've been able to grow immensely from it. Um, and also, I've been able to help other people. Um, I don't believe I mentioned this in my other video, but a while ago, I transitioned to keto. Now, I will say, again, as with anything, and as I was learning, I didn't necessarily do it in the most healthiest way. And so, what I would do is I would eat um, in a ketogenic way, but I really just prioritize the protein and the fat. And then obviously didn't eat any carbs, but, or try to limit my carbs, but I didn't look at it as eating in a balanced way of, getting lots of green vegetables and all of that, because green vegetables are very low in carbs. So they're still safe to eat on keto. So for a while, I was more so like, let's say, a meatitarian, which was terrible. I definitely would not suggest anyone approach keto from that way, because there are definitely different minerals, vitamins, and nutrients that you can get from green leafy vegetables and from some fruits that are very low in carbs while practicing a keto diet that I believe are extremely important to one's overall health. And even if I were to, let's say, exceed the amount of carbs that I am supposed to consume on a daily basis on keto, right now, I'll say, because my body is so keto adapted, I still, even if my blood sugar spikes, I go right back into keto very easily. And so, what I personally have adopted for myself is what they call a cyclical ketogenic diet. But when I am keto, I am more so ketotarian. And so, to explain what that means, ketotarian, as I said, focuses on being keto, but you focus on eating green leafy vegetables to get those uh, carbs. I'm sorry, to get those clean carbs because they're not as many, but then you're getting all the vitamins and minerals that you need in a daily diet. And so, with that, I have um, been able to, I would say, transform my health immensely from that. Um, so yes, definitely, if you have the opportunity to practice a clean keto diet, I promise your body will thank you for it. Um, being a meatitarian, where you're just focused on meat and fat, I'm not going to say that it could not be helpful in just doing a zero carb diet. That's also another way that some people refer to it. But for me, I don't think that that is healthy long term. Um, but as with everything, I'm open to the science, I'm open to learning more. Um, but to me, you would have to supplement with some type of multivitamin in order for that to be healthy, because you're not getting all of the vitamins and minerals you need by just practicing a zero carb diet. But yeah, if anyone has information on that and would love to share, I'd love to learn about it, how it could be healthy and sustainable long term. But at least from what I have learned, what I've found out, that is not a healthy long term sustainable diet. So that's ketotarian. And then the cyclical part. So, what the cyclical part basically means for myself is that I focus on being keto on some days of the week, and then other days of the week when I know I'm going to do a some type of workout that is high intensity, and my body will need active carbs in order to burn, in order to be successful in that workout. I eat carbs. So what that means for me is on Monday, Wednesday, well, I live Monday through Thursday, but on Monday, Wednesday, and sometimes Friday, I have my heavier lift days. So that's my larger muscle groups, such as my chest and my quads, or my back and my hamstrings. So that's Monday, Wednesday, and maybe Friday. On those days when I do lift heavy, I'm keto, which I know some people might say, why don't you reverse it? But again, this is what I have found works for me. Then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I ride my bike. And when I ride my bike, I focus on eating carb heavy meals. And then I also time the position of the carbs that I eat. So when I eat carbs, I also drink some coffee. So it is spiking my glucose. And I have free glucose floating in my bloodstream when I'm actually engaging in the uh, cycling workout. And for me, that's just wonderful because that glucose doesn't then get stored when, even though it spikes my glucose, that glucose doesn't get transformed into fat. It literally is used immediately, and my body is able to put it to work in the cycling activity that I'm doing. So for me, like I said, I found that that works amazing. I think also with the strength, with the shift, I will say, in my strength training by focusing on heavier weight and lower reps, I think the transition to using uh, these glucose powered workouts, if you will, by timing when I'm eating in order to get the spike at the right time in order to lift, or I'm sorry, in order to ride the bike, I think those in tandem have definitely led to the transition, if you will, in my workouts, and why my, um, what is that? Why Garmin continues to suggest that my FTP is increasing. So for me, it's amazing, and I'm enjoying it greatly. Um, so yeah, that's those workouts. But yeah, I am on a cyclical ketogenic diet that is ketotarian, and that's how I kind of uh, force or help. I would say that's how I help myself to make better, healthier decisions. Because if it was up to me, I would eat carbs all the time: bread, dough, donuts, um, pasta, all of that. Um, and nothing wrong with those, but I definitely think that they should be consumed, um, let's say, in moderation. Oh, also, let's not forget the sweets. I definitely love sweets, but those should be consumed in moderation, and they're definitely healthy. But it's definitely something that um, you should treat it as a treat, or not something that you're just like, oh, I should have this all the time. And also, it's a way for me to practice um, self control. So, again, not ideal, not the greatest, because if it were up to me, I would definitely always eat carbs, but it's definitely helped to transform my health. And I believe now I look healthy and I actually am healthy, which has been the goal for me of this lifestyle, of pursuing this lifestyle. Because, some people, they just look healthy, but, if you took labs from them, they're terrible on the inside. For me, I wanted to be look healthy and be healthy. Um, and also, that's why I introduced physical therapy to get proper range of motion back. So yeah, it's great if I look healthy. I have the muscles. It's great that my internals, as far as my what's that word I'm looking for? You know, let's say blood and heart and everything is working great. But I also wanted to be healthy in reference to muscle movement. So right now, sorry, coming back to the video, I am trying to position the camera. Um, and so what I will do is put the bench next to the leg extension machine so you can see the rep. I'm going to move it slightly forward so you can see. And then what you'll be able to see is the range of motion that I have with these reps. Do apologize for capturing the person in the back, but here we are. So I'm going to start, but it didn't fall right. So I also will adjust on the next one. But as you can see, I do partial reps on this, not full. I do apologize because I cannot remember at the current point in time, but these partial reps are to activate only two muscles in the quads, while the other two muscles in the quads are activated in that upper range of motion for leg extension. And so I've already kind of hit the full range or all four of the muscles in the quad with the squat. So now it's, again, that targeted effort. But I will say that one way that I would like to transform this workout for myself is that I think it is important here to transition this to a single leg versus both legs at the same time. The importance of that is just to then be able to see if there are any weaknesses, and then once I identify what those weaknesses are, focusing on that side. So let's say my right is weaker, doing the proper number of set or reps for the left, but then, pushing out an equal number of reps or a higher number of reps on the right to force it to grow more. One of the things I found is that for growth, you don't need to actually go to failure on each set. You can go one rep away from failure and you're able to get as close to maximal growth, I'll say, that one could get if you do it that way. And so for me, I think that's what the difference would be for going back into the example again, where the left leg is stronger. Yes. I might not go to failure or not even one rep away from failure. But for the right, I would definitely go to failure and a little bit beyond, maybe, just to get that muscle to catch up. And I know it seems like I'm frozen, but as you can see, the video is still moving. As you can see, the young lady in the background. I try to limit as much motion as possible. But yeah, so one of the other things that I definitely think is important in the gym, in these gym workouts, are music. I don't need to blast music. And also part of the reason that this video is the way it is, where it has a voiceover, is because my gym plays music in the background. And I don't necessarily know how YouTube works with their, what's that word? Copyright. But I didn't want any issues. So we're doing a voiceover instead of doing the audio that I recorded while I was in the gym. And, maybe this is better, but I hate the fact that I had to throw away all of that audio because I was saying so much and good stuff. But, recording or rather transcribing an hour worth of content, and then re-saying it. That was also uh, overwhelming. So I just said, you know what? We're going to just start here and we'll see how we do with ad lib instead of saying everything or transcribing everything and then, kind of restating. I apologize. So, yeah, as you can see, partial reps um, just to activate those two muscle groups and then rest. Like I said, we do up to 7. Um, but I think definitely I will, by switching to a individual on this second exercise, I definitely think that my body will um, at least be taxed for leg extension. Squat, maybe not so much, but definitely taxed for leg extension, um, and give me the growth that I need. So that's what we will work on. I'm looking forward to the results. And like I said, the results that I have already witnessed are definitely not something to uh, raise your nose to. I think that's the saying. I'm not sure. But yeah, so a lot of downtime, as I said. But it's definitely a good workout. But yes, going back, I think music is important. It helps to, energize you. Um, but also for me, I think any type of or audio is important because it distracts you also from the work. So for me, like I said, I do Duolingo in the rest periods, but I also think audio to distract you maybe away from the pain that you might be experiencing while doing the set is also important. So, I know a guy from back home that he listens to R&B music and he says he's making love to the weights. And I love that for him because again, it's whatever works for you. Whatever can put you in the mindset that you need so that way you can be focused and achieve your goals. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. Um, Positioning yourself, your mind, your body to be as successful as possible. Um, and with that, you will actually eventually get success, with the consistency as well. It will make me sad though when I have to leave this gym because I really like it. Like being so close, knocking it out, and then, going back to whatever I was doing. Amazing. Maybe one day um, I'll build a home gym that is amazing. Um, but today is not that day. So we go into regular gyms. But yeah, like this is actually the full stack. I believe this is 250 pounds. And I'm moving slow. And as you can see, the stack is actually right under me and is to the right of the image. And you can see how it raises above the bench and then goes below the bench. Again, controlling the weight. I try to do more slow and controlled on this one just because 250 is too easy for my legs. But again, when I switch to doing the single leg, I think I probably won't be doing 250. But with that, I think I'll be able to go back to the explosive movements with the um, leg extension instead of doing the slow and controlled. Another nice thing talking about music and distractions and putting you in a mindset to be successful, my gym has 2 TVs, and so I've definitely come in here for my workouts and seen other people watching TV. That's not really my thing. Now, don't get me wrong, I love watching TV, probably to a fault. But for me, that's not really my thing because for as far as like putting me in the mindset of working out and lifting and being productive in that way. Um, so for me, not the greatest, but for everybody else, if that works, that works. So sometimes people watch the basketball games, watching a show. Um, I think that would distract me too much, which is another thing that I love about the Garmin platform. I'm able to set up my workouts, set up my rest time, and then my watch kind of gives me a countdown when the rest period is almost over. I think it starts at 5 seconds. So I'm able to, in that time, kind of position myself and get ready to do the next set. And I think that's amazing because before, what I would have to do is have a timer that's constantly running on my phone and then use that timer to determine when my rest period was over. Or if I didn't use the timer, I would then have to remember to set the timer after every set. And I'm not, because then if I'm recording the weight and setting the timer, as two separate events, I definitely was not the best in keeping up with that. But with this, what I'm able to do is as soon as I stop the set with Garmin, it starts the rest timer. And so I don't have to remember to, um, interact with that. But then also the beauty is that it then prompts me to enter the the reps and the weight that I just did. So it's almost uh, kind of thoughtless. Obviously, you have to remember to stop the set. So, you know, and there have been times, I think I mentioned this in my previous video, where I forgot to stop the set. But for the most part, I'm pretty good on stopping the set. And it kind of just allows me to check out, if you will, of the note taking part of my workout and then focus on the important part, which is moving the weight, um, getting into the mindset to do work and, just being successful in that way. So for me, that's what works best. I mean, obviously for everyone, everyone's different and they might find um, value or can't think of the word right now, but they might find something in doing something else. I know I used something twice. That's terrible. But for everyone, whatever works for them. This is just the way that works for me. I'd rather mm, check out, if you will, of the keeping track of, my weights, my reps, and all of that, and just put my energy into lifting. And also, then some might offer, well, you do Duolingo. Isn't that also distracting? But Duolingo is kind of like the music for me. It's a way that allows me to check into the workout because it turns my mind off. Although I can definitely see how one should argue or would argue that don't you want your mind on while doing Duolingo? Um, but also, I would say that in a way it helps because I want my mind to be off, but still be able to speak a different language. So I don't want to have to actively translate. I want to be at the level where the same way that I'm able to operate in English, I can operate in other languages. So technically, in that regard, with Duolingo, I want my mind to be off. I want it just to be natural that, if someone says, parlez-vous français, I understand what that means. Instead of saying, all right, so they said parler, that means this. Okay, they said vous, that means that. And then say français, that means that. Okay, so putting it together, rearranging the words, they were saying this. I want it to be as effortless as English is. So, is this the right way? I don't know, but we'll see. Just finished another set, as you can see. And now I'm going to take you on a journey as we are going to get set for bench press. Now, again, what I do is I do 3 warm ups and 1 working set. Apologize for my hand being in the shot. I think, yeah. So I went to go get wipes because I don't really trust or know that people wipe down the machine. So it's best that I just actually do it and guarantee that it's done myself. And I especially don't like lying down on the machines with my hair. Like my body, I can wash, but my hair, I don't wash every single day. Yes, for those of you who do not know, you are not supposed to wash your hair every single day with locks. It would dry it out and just not be the best. And I don't want that for me, at least. If other people would like to wash their hair every single day with locks, I wish them the best, and I love that that works for them. That is definitely not what I do. So again, it's a light warm up. I believe I start with 20. Um, and so I do 20 reps with 20 pounds on each side. Again, this is about full range of motion and focusing on just activating and turning on this muscle group. So that way, when I do the working sets, they are as optimal as can be. And again, in between each warm up and before the working set, I'd have a minute rest. I will say from also repositioning, I'll say my back and kind of pushing my chest forward, I have found that it activates the chest more um, because my arms are huge, but my chest has not historically been what I would like it to be. And so, with kind of uh, rolling my shoulder blades in and accentuating my chest to like pop out from the bench, it has helped me to develop my chest more. Still think that my arms are overdeveloped than my chest, but definitely something we're working on and not something that we can't fix with time, of course. So here's the minute rest period. And let's get to the next warm up. So again, we double the weight. So we're at 40 now, or I'm sorry, that's 30. Apologies. So 30 for 10. Again, slow and controlled for these warm ups. So that way we make sure, I believe I mentioned this in another video, but muscle tension intervals are important because they help to activate all the different muscle fibers in the muscle group by slowing down the workout or the uh, excitation of that muscle group. So, da-da. So now we're getting the 60s. And we only go up to 75, so the fact that I can do 60 for 8 um, shows you that I definitely have outgrown my gym and need to move to a traditional gym. I just will miss you. So here we go. 8 reps. Again, slow controlled. And there we go. So that is the end of the warm up. And now we transition to the, what's the word? We transition to the working set. And with the working set, we're doing 75s because that's all that's available to us. But it is still a decent workout. But again, I hit that 7 rep count where ideally I would like to be at 5 or 4. So yeah. But going back, there are these, I don't know what they're called, but I'll call them new Smith machines. And what happens with this Smith machine, you can rack it, um, but it kind of does a free floating thing where it has the ability to move forward and back on a track and then up and down. So it can also, if you will, accentuate and show you how you may not be moving optimally with how it moves. And here we go with the working set for the 75s. So we'll come back to the Smith machine. Again, for these, I slow it down just because, one, still warming up, but then two, I want to make sure that since the weight is light enough, I want to ensure that I'm getting activation, if you will, or as much activation as possible in my home gym. But yes, now coming back to the Smith machine, I like it because, like I said, it has forward and backwards play and then up and down. So I think also when I go to a traditional gym and don't have a spotter, it's a great place to go because I'll still be able to rack the weight when I don't have a spotter available, and I'll be able to push my chest because that's really one of the things that's important to me. Sorry, also, I think I realized that my camera or my lens was blurry. So I wanted to fix that. So sorry about that. But yes, coming back, I personally like that Smith machine, and I think I could use it for at least squat, chest exercises, maybe some rows, but I think there's better machines for rows. And then for deadlift, using a free bar is always better. But yeah, I'm also excited to go to a traditional gym for those purposes of finding or having access to machines that allow me to work differently. So while it's not something I am actively looking forward to, because I like the convenience, if you will, of being in my home gym, it is also something I'm looking forward to because it'll give me the chance to stress and train my body in different ways, which is, I mean, the reason we're in the gym to begin with. So yeah, I left my phone over on the bench that I'm currently recording my set from. So that's why I just grabbed earlier before I wiped out the camera. And now what I'm doing is just counting down for the working set. But also, I will mention, since this is such a heavy weight, I think it's important for how you actually get in position. So what I do is I move the weight around and then I basically squat it and stand up. And then once I have it up, I put it on my quads and I sit down. Then after I sit down, I use my legs to get the weight in position, like basically fall back on my chest. And then I slowly lower myself to the bench, and then I'm in position right there. I will probably say I probably could, uh, at the end of my set, do better, because I come up with the weight, and that may not be good for my shoulder. I don't know, but it's what we do at the moment. Yeah, so here's where I put it on quads. Then I use the legs to get in position, and then we start the set. And I'll show you what I mean about doing better, about ending the set. So here, right where I come back to the quads, it almost looks, to be honest, that that is in reverse. But the reason I think I could do better there is just because I think it may be bad for the shoulder, especially if I want to do higher weights. Um, but right now, that's what I have available to me. I could drop the weight. I'm not a fan of dropping weight, but then that would be less strain on my shoulder. So it's an option, not something I'm too crazy about, but it is an option. I will say that this day in the gym was good. I'd actually gone down to the gym earlier, which is why I wasn't feeling it because I had already had my pre-workout. Well, sorry, I should also mention my definition of pre-workout is coffee, and then I take MCT oil. So I had both of those, came down to the gym, and it was packed. And when I say packed, there were like 4 people. So for this small gym, that's a lot of people. And I was like, well, we're not just going to deal with this because everybody was everywhere. And I start, like I said, as you saw, with the cable machine, and somebody was already in the cable machine. So while I can work through on my working sets, because I have so much downtime, I didn't want to work through on the warm ups. So I just decided to come back. So that's also kind of why I was moving slow this day because my coffee kind of had worn off by this point, or I didn't feel the strong effects of my coffee. For me, that's about the 20-minute period. And I think I came down an hour and a half after that. And that's why I was able to get the gym empty. But in getting it empty, my coffee had worn off. And then the MCT oil also had worn off after. Uh, I don't know how long it takes for that to wear off, but it definitely is not as active or giving me the energy I need doing this. So this was just like self motivation, like push through, you can do it. Let's knock this out and, get this working. So I believe that I will have one more set before the video has to end, unfortunately. Hopefully I have one more set. I believe I do. That would be the 3-minute period. But yes, so would love to get everyone's opinion on these workouts. What are your thoughts? Is there anything that you want to see different? Is there anything that you would like for me to include? Um, yeah, I'm just open to feedback. This is something new I'm doing. Um, Hope that everyone is enjoying it. Uh, but like I said, definitely open to hearing different feedback, hearing different opinions of how I can make this better. So yes, I definitely have one more set. But yes, please like and subscribe. Um, would love to continue pushing out more material. And I go to the gym enough, so that's definitely possible. But I hope that this is helping. If you have any questions about lifting, any questions about nutrition, definitely let me know. I would love to share whatever knowledge I've gained over the years to help you be successful in your journey. But I hope that you all have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.